To continue in the topic which the Rabbi suggests, demands, asks, encourages, etc., to discuss and to study on a daily basis a subject, a topic related to the Bet HaMikdash, I want to discuss today one particular vessel, one particular item in the Beis HaMikdash was very different from everything else. How it was made, from what it was made, and so on. But before we go there, let's first say thank you to Hashem for all the miracles. Mizmer l'soida, oril adonai kol haaretz, ivdes adonai b'simcha. Boy lefanav benona duk adonai olim hu asanu v'lo enachna mitzah merisa boy shor b'seder chatzorisi b'silo. Hoydo lebachu shumay kitay v'adonai le'olam chazdo v'yadoir v'doir emunasoi. Let us give some tzedakah. Dear friends, Tzion b'mishpat tibodeh v'shuver b'tzedakah. It is with tzedakah that we will be redeemed. Interesting. In the Beis HaMikdash, whatever was able to be made in gold was done in gold. Ze keli vanvehu, as it says. When I do something for God, I do it in the most beautiful way. In fact, there's an expression in the Talmud that gold was created only basically for the service, for the Beis HaMikdash. Once it was created, God allows it to use it for something else. So, and as the Rambam says, by the construction of the temple, whatever we were able to afford to do it in gold, it was done in gold. One particular vessel called the kiyoyer, the wash basin, this was made out of copper. Which copper? So the Medrash tells us. When Moshe Rabbeinu called his fundraising, we need anything you can bring for the Beis HaMikdash, for the construction of the Mishkan, in the temple, the temporary temple in the desert, the women brought mirrors. Moshe Rabbeinu looked at mirrors and says, and what exactly am I going to do with mirrors? The Kohanim do not need in the temple mirrors to look at themselves. If looking at themselves, they'll have to look at themselves inwardly. So he asked God, what am I doing? And God says, absolutely, you are going to use those mirrors. Not only are you going to use those mirrors, nothing will happen inside the Mishkan or later on in the Beis HaMikdash without first passing these mirrors. What are those mirrors about? So we know that in the desert, in Egypt, out of exhaustion, no man was willing to have a family. So the women would make themselves attractive so as to encourage their husbands to be willing to have families. It's those mirrors, says God, that saved my people. Thanks to these mirrors, we have Jewish homes. So not only will you use it, but the Kohen, before he enters into the temple, before he does any service, sacrificing an offering or lighting the menorah, whatever it was, first of all, the hand and the feet has to be washed from the basin which will be made out of those mirrors. The importance of a family, a pure family. The concept of purity. Service in the Beis HaMikdash had to be done pure. Washing hands and feet, which hands represent action. Feet, walking, direction. In life, the actions as well as the direction we go needs to be pure. A Jew, when he wakes up in the morning, the first thing she does is washing the hands. Before it picks up the phone, before it brushes, before anything. First thing, netilat yadayim, the concept of purity. And you will see a very interesting thing. Every vessel, every item in the Beis HaMikdash, Torah describes a specific measurement. The Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark had a measurement, the Menorah had a measurement, everything, the Mizbeach, the Shulchan, everything has a measurement. The Kiyah has no measurement. Why? The answer gives the Rebbe. It says, when it comes to purity, there's never enough. One should always grow more and more advanced, more purity, more holy, more perfect. Giving a dimension to it is a contradiction of what it's all about. So God says, these copper mirrors is the basis of life. Purity, family, direction, growth, all the way to Mashiach in the Beis HaMikdash now.